The concept of globalization. Globalization is a process of interaction and integration among the people, companies, and governments of different nations. A process driven by international trade and investment and aided by information technology. This process has effects on the environment, on culture, on political systems, on economic development and prosperity, and on human physical well-being in societies around the world. Globalization need not always be positive. It can have negative consequences for the people. Indeed, there are many who believe that globalization has more negative consequences than positive. Globalization need not be only about the economic issues, nor is the direction of influence always from the rich to the poor countries. Globalization as a concept fundamentally deals with flows. These flows could be of various kinds. Ideas moving from one part of the world to another, capital shunted between two or more places, commodities being traded across borders, and people moving in search of better livelihoods to different parts of the world. The crucial element is the worldwide interconnectedness that is created and sustained as a consequence of these constant flows. Globalization is a multidimensional concept. It has political, economic, and cultural manifestations, and these must be adequately distinguished. It is wrong to assume that globalization has purely economic dimensions, just as it would be mistaken to assume that it is a purely cultural phenomenon. The impact of globalization is vastly uneven. It affects some societies more than others, and some parts of some societies more than others, and it is important to avoid drawing general conclusions about the impact of globalization without paying sufficient attention to specific contexts. Causes of globalization. If globalization is about the flows of ideas, capital, commodities, and people, it is perhaps logical to ask if there is anything novel about this phenomenon. Globalization in terms of these four flows has taken place through much of human history. However, those who argue that there is something distinct about contemporary globalization point out that it is the scale and speed of these flows that account for the uniqueness of globalization in the contemporary era. Globalization has a strong historical basis, and it is important to view contemporary flows against this backdrop.